Do you know that feeling where you think, I should be further right now? Like something is wrong because you're still here and not there, still circling the same questions, still not where you thought you should be? That feeling of being stuck can be incredibly convincing. And it often comes with a lot of pressure to do more, to push harder, maybe to fix yourself, to finally get it together. But what if feeling stuck doesn't mean that nothing is happening? What if it actually means something is happening, what we just can't see yet? That's exactly what I want to talk about today. When people tell me they feel stuck, I notice always a few patterns. One has to do with where we are looking, one has to do with how we relate to our past, and one has to do with why this in between phase feels so uncomfortable. And we usually treat all of that as a problem. It feels not good. But I want to question that today. Because when we feel stuck, our attention almost always goes forward. We look at where we are not yet and at how far away things still seem, at the version of ourselves we think we should already be, but we are not. And from that angle, it really looks like nothing is happening. But this is just one direction of looking. And from that forward looking pressure, something else often appears. We try to push harder, and when that doesn't work, we judge ourselves. We call it procrastination, or sometimes we beat ourselves up. We say we are lazy. But very often, procrastination isn't a lack of motivation, it's a sign that something inside feels unsure or afraid. And fear doesn't respond to force, it responds to safety. So instead of pushing harder, often the opposite is what helps. And there's something also happening when we feel stuck. The old way doesn't quite fit anymore, but the new way isn't fully here yet. And that in between phase is deeply uncomfortable. So we label it as being stuck and we feel stuck. But very often, it's not a standstill at all, it's a transition. So I will give you an example from my own life. When I was learning to drive, I felt completely overwhelmed. So many things at the same time. I honestly thought I will never learn this. And I failed the driver's test several times. And with every failure, the shame grew and I felt so stuck. Now, fast forward today, driving is completely natural to me, and I don't even think about how I drive. I just think about where I'm going. So something that once felt impossible is now just part of my everyday life. I made something impossible possible. And I even forgot how stuck I was back then because it became so natural. So now, how can we make sense of all of that? Instead of looking forward for a moment, I want you to stop and invite you to look back. Think of a time right now, maybe a year ago, maybe 5 years ago, when you felt really, really stuck too. I'm sure we all had many of these situations. So just go back to a time when you were convinced you wouldn't get through it. And now, imagine that earlier version of you standing in front of you. Just observe them and observe what's the difference between you now and them back then. And as you observe what comes up, ask yourself, what do I know now that I didn't know back then? What do I understand today that simply wasn't available back then? What can I see now that they couldn't? And whenever it feels right, you can take your time and hug your earlier version and give them whatever they need to feel better in that moment. Maybe you can share some advice, reassurance, understanding, or sharing an insight, something they couldn't see yet, or just being there with love and compassion. And as you offer that, notice what happens. Notice how you feel. Because the beauty is when you meet your past self with love and compassion, something moves in both directions. That earlier version receives what wasn't available back then, and you can see how far you have come. Notice how it feels when you heal in both ways. So if you feel stuck right now, believe me, you are not behind and nothing is wrong. Maybe you're just in the middle of a beautiful transition, and the beauty of the outcome isn't just visible yet. You've grown much more than you realize.